Please welcome tonight's keynote speaker, a member of this year's class of 19 under 19 students to watch, Arly DuVall. An 8th grader from Rome Middle School, Arly is a student standout known for her determination, leadership, and compassion. She excels academically and in competitions and wants to become a pediatric neurologist specializing in autism. She is also dedicated to service, raising awareness for autism in her school, volunteering in her community, and exploring her talents in the arts and athletics. Please join me in welcoming Arly to the stage.
My parents were asked not long ago by someone who knows me pretty well, how did Arly say yes to an invitation to speak about her life to a room full of mostly strangers? And I genuinely have no idea. But I guess I got here the same way we all did, with some help. None of us got to where we are today on our own, and we all need help sometimes. It was about the time when I had my first experiences with junior achievement that I also discovered that I am autistic, specifically level 1 for those of you who might know something about autism. If you don't, I have a presentation that I can give you, but that's not a part of tonight's program. But it's hard to try to fit into a place like school where you aren't always accepted or appreciated, or to try to fit into a mold you weren't made to be. I was shy, I wasn't comfortable in social situations, and I preferred to do my work quietly and then survive the rest of the time. On the surface, it looked like I was thriving because I made good grades and I didn't get in trouble, but underneath, I needed more help to be able to thrive than anyone knew. My diagnosis changed everything. Putting language to who I am and learning insights, and then tools, and then building supportive scaffolding that helped me navigate the world around me began to transform my life. I began to build confidence. I felt more at home in my skin, and I began to learn how to actually be myself and to accept my differences. Junior achievement was a part of that journey. On paper, JA BizTown sounds small, just some classwork to prepare, and then a one-day simulation. Pretty simple. I remember filling out the job preference sheet, and we were asked to list our top choices, and without really thinking about it, I wrote down leadership roles, president of Dalton College, even mayor as a bit of a wild card. And then I panicked a little because I realized I only picked leadership. And you need to understand that I'm an extremely socially awkward person, so this was terrifying for me. And I remember thinking, this is either gonna go really well or it's gonna be terrible. Which is maybe how all big leadership positions feel like these days. When the jobs were announced, I was named the president of Dalton College. And that day was another moment of growth for me. Being a leader wasn't about being loud or dominant. It was about being capable, about realizing that leadership didn't have to look one specific way, and that all of us are capable of leading. At the end of the day, we won business of the day. I still have the certificate. And I remember thinking, hold on, I'm actually good at this. And that moment inspired something to take deeper root in me. A belief that maybe I had something worth saying, something worth contributing. The next year in JA Finance Park, the lesson looked very different. Suddenly, I wasn't just a student or the president of Dalton College, I was adulting. I was a single parent with bills to pay, rent, groceries, gas, insurance, and I couldn't afford anything. And I remember feeling completely overwhelmed. And it hit me all at once just how expensive life is and how much responsibility my parents were carrying every single day. I went home and talked about it with my parents, and shockingly, they knew what it was like. But what was most helpful in that moment, too, was how JA handled it. They gave me the opportunity to find some agency and empowerment and said, try to figure this out. When I messed up, they didn't shame me for not knowing, but they also didn't step in and rescue me. They let me struggle in safety. try, get it wrong, try again, and get it better. It was the same thing that I had to learn to do with my autism. It's how we all grow. None of us are perfect. None of us get it right all the time. And we all need space to try and fail and learn and grow. And that's what builds confidence. That's what helps us grow. That's where the real learning happens. It is progress, not perfection. And we need more of that kind of space in our communities. JA created spaces where collaboration didn't mean you had to be the loudest person in the room. Everyone had a role, everyone contributed, everyone mattered, and everyone was appreciated for their contributions. We worked together, and all of us were listened to by those who were part of JA. And somewhere in those situations, I learned to trust my voice and my own life in a deeper way. Not the one that gets all the right answers and always gets everything right, but the one that speaks with courage, the one that teaches, and the one that leads. A year ago, I gave several presentations on autism to my middle school to try and lead my peers to better understand some of their classmates. Just a few months ago, a classmate told me she remembered something I said, something I had taught during one of those presentations. She said she had learned a lot from me and that it mattered to her. And I was absolutely floored. In that moment, I realized something powerful, that my voice could help make this world a better place. And I'm grateful that Junior Achievement believed in me before I was good at believing in myself. You gave me a place to try, to fail, to grow. You gave me real-world skills, mentorship, and trust. Most importantly, Junior Achievement helped me find my voice. And that voice has changed how I see myself, how I show up, and how I imagine my future. Thank you.